Yeah, just
We've taken to drinking.
you might just want to fill it up. Welcome to Rebel Watch, an all Star Wars podcast.
Hey, what are you trying to push on us?
Perhaps you think you're being treated unfairly.
Hey, Star Wars fans, welcome back to another episode of Rebel Watch. I'm Ez, and this is Mike. Okay, that was a little longer than I thought. This is Mike. Mike is, I guess, taking a... There he is. A hiatus.
As I'm embarrassed.
I am too. I'm really embarrassed, actually. Why are you embarrassed, bro?
Because our podcast is turning into scum.
It is turning into... I don't know what's going on with it, guys. This is not how we intended for this podcast to go. Today, we're again under siege.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you're like, guys, fix it, get it right. What's going on? We don't understand. How can this still be happening? But it is. So the equipment's it's just crap, guys. It's crap. I mean, here we have our little. We were using this. We tried this today. It failed. Okay. Thank goodness our buddy Matt is here, and he brought his laptop.
I mean, we're shooting in like 360p right now.
Yeah, and that's not his fault. That's our fault. You know, for basically having crap equipment.
Yep.
Actually, you know what? I'm sorry. I tend to take a lot of this on myself.
You put
but
it on your shoulders. You're so humble.
It's not us. It's not us. There are folks out there trying to keep us down.
It's a plot.
We definitely know Stupendous Wave is involved, but I just recently saw that he collaborates with Star Wars Explained.
That makes sense.
And it does make sense.
That makes sense.
I don't know. Anyways, guys, all right, so today, should we take the glasses off or should we keep them on?
I'll give podcasting another shot.
I'll give it a shot. Yeah.
I'll give it a shot.
Oh, wow, that is so much more. That's so much better.
I'd actually anticipated joining a new podcast called Gandalf and Sons. It's a strictly Lord
Middle
of the
Earth
Rings,
there.
Middle Earth podcast.
Oh, my God. Guys, we just... I kid you not, we had like probably another 45-minute podcast, and this time we were using my phone.
Yeah.
And I've been keeping my phone... By the way, sorry about that. The camera is going to be moving all over the place because
Where is
I can't
the
keep
camera?
What do you mean, my iPhone?
No, the actual camera that we're recording on right now, right there.
I'm sorry. See, we're not used to this. We keep looking at ourselves. We need to minimize that.
I can't.
It's
too late.
It's too late. It's too late. We can't do it.
It's too late.
It's too late. Look at the green dot. Okay? Look at the green dot. So anyways, we were using my camera, or my phone, and we did the update, and it just still jacked up.
Yeah.
Didn't work.
Crapped out.
So it was my fault for letting it do the update, and now we're gonna have to buy a camcorder. We're gonna break down and have to upgrade for the channel. So that's coming. New technology, new equipment, new stuff, and we'll be good to go.
We'll give Star Wars another shot.
We'll give it another shot. Yeah. Are you kidding me? We love Star Wars. It's just Star Wars. I think we're like Padawan learners right now, and we just don't. You know, we're up against a really big Sith plot, and we need your help. Okay.
We're definitely not shooting in 1080p right now.
No, we're not. That's okay.
That's okay.
Okay, so what are we talking about today, Mike? What's the plan?
Well, the only
you need
plan
the
I
notes?
know of, the notes are gone.
You need the notes?
The notes are there.
I got the notes.
Okay, that's perfect.
This is what we've come to here, guys.
I'm surprised we have electricity in this place.
I don't even know what's going on. So today, all right, first thing up, we do want to talk about this week. We're actually, of all weeks, we're being featured on Podbean, and none of our equipment works.
That's karma.
And it is literally, it's killing me because I wanted to do like an episode a day, and we couldn't get it up. So sorry for all this jabber in the beginning.
I almost made a juvenile joke there. But you know what?
Go
ahead and go with the notes.
Yeah, let's just go with the notes.
Yep.
Okay. Another thing that Mike and I are doing, we're doing a What If series, which ended up working out because we didn't have to do any of the visual for it. We just kind of do some audio. It's sort of a warm up. Anytime we want to go podcast, Mike and I will have a conversation. You know, hey, what if Qui-Gon Jinn didn't die? What if Rey is a Kenobi? All these different things. So those are on Patreon.com/RebelWatch. You can check those out. Just some, I don't know, really, what do you call it? Just
that's true podcasting.
It's it's just us rambling. Well, right now we're rambling more than we ever have. Yeah. We're really sorry, but it's good. You guys should go check it out. Just to get something extra to get up there. So yeah, I think we're good.
That's right.
All right, today
back to the notes.
The big topic The Darth Vader comic just came out, guys, and
Epic.
Mike brought it over for me so I could read it, and it's epic. It's awesome. And we learned some interesting information in there. Of course, all of the other channels covered it before we did because they're plotting against us.
That's right.
It's okay. We even tried to get the issue early.
I actually had
No
to
big
send
deal.
you a Raven
Yeah.
to communicate with you.
Right. And I actually didn't get the Raven. I saw the backup smoke signal that Mike sent.
That's right.
So, anyways, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. New Darth Vader,
Here we
issue
go.
1.
Get serious. Summarize it. We're going to summarize it for the folks a little bit. Just a quick.
It's definitely what
summary.
we expected. You know, the summaries and the reviews that came out early told us exactly where we were going to start, and that was at the end of episode 3 after Vader's infamous. No. We literally pick up right there. So you have Vader with the Emperor pretty much just shredding everything with the Force.
Yeah.
And he has a vision of him choking Padme. It's kind of the same deal that we see in episode 3 or whatever. But you do see though Vader does somewhat of, I don't know, what do you call it? Force exert, where he just
Force rage.
Force rage that
Yeah.
you kind of see in like the Force Unleashed and games like that.
Right.
And he actually kind of pushes the Emperor back.
Yeah.
Which I thought was pretty cool. I didn't expect such a confrontation between the Emperor and Vader at this moment.
Right.
But we see it. And Vader pretty much confronts him and says, you promised me you could save her.
Right.
And he's just like, you know what? It's kind of similar to what he says in the movie. But he's like, in your rage, you chose a different path.
Right.
And, that she's gone.
She's gone. Man.
But there's a moment where actually the Emperor's kind of sympathetic with Vader and what he's gone through. Not sympathetic; it's probably all lies.
Well, it could be a facade, but
it's
he's
a facade
yeah.
for sure. But he's just like, I know you've been through a traumatic experience, but there's pretty much bigger things out there that you and I have to deal with, and I have big plans for you, and there's much more out there than just you and your wife and.
Right, he gives him. I mean, I think he gives him just enough to sort of like something to live for. He knows he has just enough to sort of. He's still in that bridge area between like learning to be a Sith and what does that mean, and which we're going to get to here in just a second.
Exactly,
which is pretty cool.
And so there's times where the Emperor's actually calling Vader friend. He's still referring to him as friend. It's almost kind of still like he's talking to Anakin.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So he's definitely. But with that. Then he kind of puts Vader in his place.
Yeah, he does.
And he actually pulls a lightsaber on him. Mm-hmm. And he says...
Well, he uses the Force lightning on him too, doesn't he?
He does use the Force... So, yeah, he uses the Force lightning first.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Pretty much just kind of putting Vader in his place, which if you remember in episode 6, Force lightning essentially killed Vader.
Right.
Along with his, the loss of his hand.
Right. Yeah.
For a second time.
Yeah.
But, so he hits him with the Force lightning. Obviously, I don't think Vader expected that. Well, I mean, he'd seen the Emperor use it before on Mace Windu.
Right, yeah, for sure.
But
he didn't expect him to do that right there when he had just...
Exactly.
Yeah, this early, I guess,
Exactly. So he's essentially getting Vader to pledge his allegiance, and while he's hitting him with the Force lightning, he says, Lord Vader, why don't you pull your lightsaber and defend yourself?
Right.
And Vader says, Obi-Wan took it after our confrontation, and the Emperor says, no, that lightsaber blade actually belonged to another.
That's right.
A Jedi.
He's not a Jedi anymore.
He's not a Jedi anymore.
He's a Sith Lord.
And that's where we see the Emperor actually pull his lightsaber right at the throat of Vader.
Right.
And one of the most epic lines of this issue, and probably the entire Darth Vader series, is, if you touch me with the Force again, I will finish what Kenobi could not.
Oh, boy.
That's a threat.
That's something.
But let me go back to calling you old friend, and you are my friend, Lord Vader. I do hope we never find ourselves in this position again.
Right. Let's move past this.
Let's move past this, and so they do. So he withdraws his lightsaber, and then he says, "Let me show you something." And here's where we begin to learn kind of the maybe more recent history of the red lightsaber and how it becomes red.
Like the bleeding of Kyber crystals is really what we're about to start talking about here, and it's it's really interesting that this is where we learn this. I mean, we've seen red lightsabers before, and this really makes it, I guess, to get this Kyber crystal and to have a red lightsaber, it's making it a bigger deal, and it makes them more epic in a sense, or just more. Yeah, because they have a trial. They have to go through this trial to get their lightsaber or to get their Kyber crystal, right? So you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, essentially, he says, you can create your own lightsaber from the Kyber crystal of a Jedi, and he's like, well, it actually is a scene of a bunch of clone troopers destroying all the lightsabers that they've obtained in Order 66,
Right. That's
which
right.
is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And they were like incinerating them in something. And it's kind of crazy because all the Kyber crystals have this huge reaction when they're incinerating it, and it almost looks like it shoots a beam like the Death Star.
Yeah, it does. It does. And they actually have Yoda's lightsaber. They throw Yoda's in there. You see it. It's
They
actually
do
pretty
mention
neat.
it. They even mention it too.
Right.
So he's like, if I can create a red lightsaber from any Jedi lightsaber, why didn't you just let me use Master Yoda's?
Right.
Or something like that. And he says, you can't just use any Jedi lightsaber. It has to be taken.
Right, exactly. You have to. It's a trial. So these Kyber crystals are alive. They're alive, and they're drawn to force sensitive, beings.
They are.
And so it's a trial and stuff for the Jedi to go in there and to be in harmony and find their Kyber crystal, and so when they can't just go into any temple. I guess they could. But really what Palpatine is teaching here is that we don't. We're Sith. And we're still under the rule of 2. And so I think it's more meaningful that he has to go by force. He has to take a Kyber crystal and pour his anger into it to the point where it bleeds. And these crystals are alive, and so they feel that pain. So when they're put on these emotions and anger into the crystal, it bleeds and turns red.
And we had a good discussion about... we've seen red lightsabers before.
Yeah, we have. You want to talk about like the rule of 2 and how far this goes back?
Yeah, I mean, we see things like Old Republic, and we see the Sith Empire, and there's thousands of Sith with thousands of red lightsabers.
I know it. And so I don't know. I guess what we were trying to figure out, and I had watched a couple of videos actually on Star Wars Explained, and just about this before we did today's podcast. And he kind of mentions that every time you see that red lightsaber, that a Sith went and, either stole that or took it by force or bled that crystal out. I'm not so sure that, we don't know that for sure, actually. I think Palpatine is saying this is the way things are done. Maybe this is how things have been done for a millennia, but maybe not since the beginning and since the early times of the Old Republic. I think it might have been more around the time of the Rule of 2, and it makes sense in that, if those Sith are going to be they need to be more powerful. There's 2 of them. They definitely need to be tested and tried, and that would be a trial to go get the crystal, to kill another Jedi, to forcibly take the Kyber crystal and bleed, or to pour your anger into it. I think would be a big deal.
You're pretty much showing that you're worthy.
Yeah, you're worthy. Exactly. So, and also the math doesn't quite add up for the Old Republic. It's like if you have 1,000 Sith and 1,000 Jedi. Those are not the exact numbers, but they're much more than that. But essentially, though, you're saying that these 1,000 Sith went and killed or stole or forcibly took these Kyber crystals. People would catch on to that. I don't know. I don't know that happened then. I think it makes more sense it would happen when the Sith were fewer and in hiding and things like that. It would make their because we were talking about Count Dooku. Did Count Dooku do that as well? Did he? Was it Sifo Dyas? Probably not. What did he take his own lightsaber crystal and just turn it? Would Palpatine have allowed that? All of those things.
And we know that the method has been just kind of secluded to this rule of 2 to the Sith, because the Emperor actually asked Vader, like, do you know how a Sith lightsaber is made? And he's like, no, the Jedi actually neglected to offer those teachings. So you have the Sith destroyed at one point, and then the Jedi never telling anyone how this happened. So you're left with a couple of lightsabers in the galaxy that are red.
Yeah, and it's just that's why I kind of think it just makes more sense that it's something that the Sith is a secret of theirs. That if the Jedi didn't know of it, they didn't. That it probably started around I don't know. That really kind of contradicts itself if we think that the Jedi knew about it during the Rule of 2, or was it something that was happening before the Rule of 2?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I don't either.
Because Palpatine does say they did know about it. He goes, the Jedi do know about this, but they pick and choose what they want to teach you.
That's right.
In a sense.
But you throw a curveball in here.
Yeah.
Let's go to more recent The Force Awakens.
Exactly. Yeah. Let's go there.
Kylo Ren.
Right. And Pablo Hidalgo, we know, guys, that he said that there are no Sith in this. And so, what is Ben Solo / Kylo Ren? What is Snoke? What order are they from? Are they just dark side users? The Acolytes of the Beyond. He's a member of the Knights of Ren. But how did he get a red Kyber crystal? It's a Force saber, but at the same time, it has a crystal. Did he take his? You know what I'm saying? Like, what? How does that work?
And I mean, he has what we think and what appears to be a kind of Old Republic style lightsaber, right?
He does.
That's what we kind of theorize. We've seen maybe a reference to it in Rebels.
Right.
So maybe he found that crystal? Maybe because if Snoke is not a Sith, then who taught him how to bleed a Kyber crystal?
It could be that he found it. That's actually a good point. Because he's obsessed with his grandfather, so maybe he did just go find a crystal like that, or was maybe he was. We don't know yet about. Or we do.
Ooh.
We see the Acolytes of the Beyond in Aftermath passing around red lightsabers, so they're still there. Correct? What'd you think?
Correct. Do we know what happened to Vader's lightsaber?
That's what I was trying to think. I think it is. I think at one point it's passed off as. I could be wrong. So if I'm wrong, guys, just correct me. You asked me too quick here, but I think the Acolytes of the Beyond passed it off as. They think they passed a red lightsaber off as Vader's, but I'm not so sure that it was Vader's lightsaber. So because I believe.
But I mean, that was in Empire's End, right? That we learned that.
Yeah, that was Empire's End. But when Vader loses his hand and his lightsaber.
True.
So I don't know how they would have got it. Someone would have had
So Kylo could have possibly gotten that lightsaber crystal.
It would be another
at a later point.
Yeah, it would be at a later point. It would be another story for Ma, like Maz's story to reveal to us how she found Anakin's lightsaber, Luke's lightsaber in Cloud City. So
that would make sense, though, right? I mean, it's his. He finds out it's his grandfather.
I think he would be obsessed with finding it, just like he did with the mask.
Exactly.
He goes to the Forcemen of Endor and finds the burnt mask and retrieves it. So I'm sure he's retraced a lot of those steps and maybe even went to Darth Vader's castle. Could have several artifacts, actually. I
would love for that to be addressed.
Yeah, that would be really cool. Or even if we don't, even if it's not like, said or stated, but like there's screen time where we see the lightsaber, we see, old Ben's cloak, or we see something, that's just sort of a light side or dark side relic would be epic. That would be awesome.
Could be part of his trials with Snoke, if Snoke is in fact a Sith.
Yeah, and we don't know what Snoke is. So, and it seems to be that he's not a Sith. Seems like we're supposed to be moving away from those two orders, but I'm not sure. So
definitely complicates it.
Yeah, it does. It does for sure. And I think what this kind of led us into talking about Ben Solo's lightsaber. Will we see this? What was his lightsaber when he was at the academy? Did he have one? Did he go?
Was it purple?
Did he go to Christophsis and get what color was it? What did he do? How did he get it? What happened to it when he left the academy? What is it that Snoke is teaching him that, it's just interesting. This comic
Did he bleed his own lightsaber?
Right.
Because theoretically, Vader probably could have bled his own, seeing that he says it was another's. The Emperor says it was another's lightsaber. It was a Jedi's. So theoretically, if he still had it.
Exactly.
If he still had it, his old one that Obi-Wan took, maybe he could have just bled that crystal.
Am I right in saying that you've read some of Ahsoka and you can purify these crystals too?
You can.
Right? Because when the Inquisitors had them, I believe she got her white lightsabers from Inquisitors.
Spoiler alert.
Sorry.
Mike hasn't finished that much of the book.
Yeah, sorry.
That's all right.
My bad.
That's okay.
So anyways, thank you. Sorry about that.
And I forgive you for the red wine spill on my shirt.
Yeah, that's why Mike's wearing a flannel.
That's okay.
Just a little information there. I went hard flannel too because Mike was wearing
hard flannel.
So anyways, I think you can purify those crystals as well. So just interesting. I'm kind of saying that I'm not so sure that there isn't that your crystal couldn't be red as well just back in the day.
That's true.
I think that before in Legends material that was the case. So it was just interesting that I don't know. I think if you look at Old Republic stuff, that might not be that all the Sith were bleeding their Kyber crystals. I don't know.
Yeah, no, there's definitely probably another method. But
so
the end of that comic, Vader's on a quest to find his lightsaber, and the Emperor actually sends him out and leaves them on some desert planet by himself without transport.
Right.
And he actually says, you must seek out a Jedi from whom to take a Kyber crystal. A daunting task indeed, after our success together in eradicating them from the galaxy. Yeah, so either we may see another Jedi who survived Order 66.
And not one that we know of. I think that would be kind of interesting to see that maybe it's one that we don't know of.
That would be very cool.
You know.
Be very cool. So yeah, he leaves him on this planet, and that's where we're kind of left with Darth Vader seeking his new lightsaber.
Well, we do see some epic action scenes where he was supposed to be left with that ship, right?
That's true. The Emperor was gracious enough to leave him a transport. Turns out that transport was stolen. Mm-hmm. Probably the Emperor behind that. But he identifies who stole the ship and finds the actual ship and just goes force crazy on those pirates.
Right.
Like, he just throws them around everywhere, throws them off cliffs.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think Palpatine it's a part of the trial. I think
exactly.
You know, he's seemingly saying like this should be here, but it's not, and it's just sort of he's trying to guide him. When he releases him, he says, "Let the dark side, take over. Let it consume you. Let it bend it to your will." Is actually what he says.
He actually refers to like a path of pain.
Yeah,
or death, and he chooses pain.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right. So it's super cool, and it's giving us some really interesting information. I mean, I think the reveal of bleeding a Kyber crystal is huge, actually, and it's coming from a comic book. So, it's just neat that we're getting more of this kind of stuff, from.
So we'll probably see in more issues. We'll see him obtain that crystal. We'll hear a little more of him and him adjusting to his armor. They actually mention it briefly, and the Emperor asks him, "How's your armor?" And he's like, "Acceptable." And that was it. So we'll probably hear more stories, kind of like in Lords of the Sith, where he's adjusting and and learning how to survive in that. So
yeah, we'll try to cover that as well.
All right.
All right. So next, kind of running out of hand here. We were going to talk a little bit about. We saw some new Battlefront 2
footage.
Right, some footage there.
E3.
So that looked really good. We'll probably do some more in-depth talk on that later on, but. Just wanted to say it was epic. We saw it, and if you get a chance, I'm really looking forward to that. It's coming out before. I know what I was going to talk about. Remember we were talking about how there's something going around the internet right now where on one of the menu screens you see Rey, and you see her lightsaber, which is Anakin's lightsaber or Luke's, which was found by Maz or who knows who that calls to her. And then there's like another screen, and this is either completely photoshopped, or this is a glitch in the game, or a glitch in the system, or it's some of the earlier working out the kinks. But there's Rey's lightsaber. It's described in the lower right-hand corner, and it's Obi-Wan's lightsaber. Instead of the sketch or the schematic is actually Obi-Wan's lightsaber. And so everyone's like, can you switch lightsabers around in the game, or is it that you...
Is she a Kenobi?
That's
back.
And that's back, which is cool. I don't know. So that was really interesting. I think it was just... I honestly think it was... Clickbait, and somebody just... I think they photoshopped that in there.
I do too. I really do too.
What an epic Photoshop, because that's...
Looks really good.
It was...
And the cool thing is too is that when they show an image of her with the drawn lightsaber that you selected or whatever, and it's blue. What appears to be blue, the one that looks like Kenobi. So you would think, okay, is it Obi-Wan's?
Right, it could be.
We don't really know what happened. We think, at least in Legends, it says that Vader took the cloak and the saber, right? From Obi-Wan. So who the heck knows? I think it's clickbait though.
I think it was. I think it was definitely somebody who was a big Rey Kenobi fan. And they were wanting sort of to put more evidence together and pieces together and really push for it. So
I think it's the Reylo fans.
It's the Reylo fans because they want that Reylo to happen, and they want a
Kenobi and a Skywalker getting together. Of course they do.
Of course, that's great. Actually,
other cool things though from if you haven't had a chance, go to some of the streamers at E3 who actually got to demo this game. Mm-hmm. It's really cool to watch. It looks like Darth Maul may be pretty stacked in this game.
Yeah,
he is taking names.
Yeah.
And Rey may be a little underwhelming.
And that's okay.
So far.
Probably shouldn't be as strong as Luke Skywalker, I would think.
That's true. But maybe she'll get an upgrade soon.
Yeah.
When it's released. But yeah, so he's going to take some names. We see a lot of other heroes and villains that we've already seen. We're going to see Yoda. Right. I think we're still going to see Han. We saw Luke as well. Mm-hmm. Maybe Vader. But we're getting 3 different generations of battles and clones and stormtroopers. It's going to be... You actually can be one of the droids from episode 1.
Yeah.
Which may seem stupid, but I want to run around and go, Roger, Roger. hours.
Oh yeah, sure.
So
That'd be epic. Yeah, pwn some people with
that's right.
the droid.
That's right.
Yeah, so it looks good, guys. And kind of to jump into something else here that parallels that a little bit is the Inferno Squad book.
Yes.
That's coming out, I think, in July.
Either that or Phasma's coming out in July. I can't
No,
remember.
Phasma's coming out September 1st.
Perfect. And it is Inferno. Yeah.
So I think it must be July, and that's going to be really cool. Actually,
Yes.
I think it'll be kind of neat. Again, like Mike and I have been saying, a humanizing of the Empire.
That's
you
right.
know, and I think it's sort of a revenge thing where they're going after Saul Guerrera and his folks. Not really Saul himself, obviously, but after the destruction of the first Death Star. So
seeking vengeance.
yeah, and it's like they really believe in the Empire and Palpatine, and so it's just sort of like. It's awesome.
It
you know?
may
I don't
play
know.
directly into that storyline we see out of Battlefront 2. We're not
Right.
sure yet, but it
Not
seems
sure.
like that is what maybe takes
Or
place.
we're getting the precursor to that of the starting of this squad,
Exactly.
and then maybe in Battlefront 2 we're gonna get more of the story with those guys. So
gonna be
after the
awesome.
destruction of the second Death Star, perhaps.
It's going to be awesome.
So yeah, looking really good. We just mentioned Captain Phasma or the Phasma book, September 1st. That'll be
right.
interesting to see. Is she Mara Jade?
Don't cast that one out just yet.
Mike thinks so. No, it'd just be kind of neat to see. Is she helmet? Does she have a helmet? Does she not have a helmet? All that good stuff.
That's right.
So
That's right. What
yeah,
makes her
kinda go
so
from there.
ruthless?
right, exactly. So there was one thing over here that was.
Are we done with the hand notes?
Well, the computer finally came back up.
We have power.
It finally came back up, and we had notes for this, but we just got so frustrated because my computer's been shutting down. One thing before we get into kind of some of the fun stuff, I guess, of this
Yes.
podcast, we are thinking about collaborations. You want to talk about collaborations and things that might be coming up soon?
So
Or if anybody wants to collaborate, I mean, I know the quality's down right now.
That's
but
right. We typically don't shoot in 360p or whatever's going on right now.
144.
Yeah, it's definitely not the highest quality right now, but we're working on it. Had some setbacks, but we'd love to collaborate with the other channels that we know and love out there. We have been approached by some. I'll say that. Should we drop names? I mean, I don't want to embarrass anyone with the quality right now.
Yeah,
but,
I don't want to either.
You're right.
If they want,
but
I'm-
Stupendous Wave, we'll shoot you an email back.
he wants us to collaborate, but
Yeah.
it's like all of this negative attention he's been trying to, or negative energy sending our way with the equipment. It's just not right.
We're just not sure if we can trust you just yet.
Yeah, so we'll get back to Stupendous Wave, but
That's right.
yeah, maybe some potential collaborations coming out there. So if anybody else wants to collaborate, though, just hit us up. Let us know. We'd love to do that once we get our equipment working. We promise it will be working when you're ready to collaborate. So
That's right.
and I think because again, I have no idea when this computer shut down.
Ooh.
I think I lost all of my Lightspeed round
It's
notes.
all corrupted.
So we had a bunch of Lightspeed questions from Lindsay Gadati. Thank you very much.
That's right.
Juan Cholo.
That's right.
We had a couple of new guys join up on Patreon. All of that's gone. I am just so I'm
okay.
so irritated with like today. This is like the third time we've shot this episode, and you'd be like, well, maybe that should make this better, right?
That's right.
No, it just I don't know. We just got so frustrated with it. But I promise you guys, we're going to Best Buy. We're buying a camcorder. This
right.
crap is not happening. It's not going to happen anymore.
That's right.
It's going to be good to go. So we do want to mention just really quickly a funny thing to perk you up after all of this. To really, I don't know if you want something. You've watched this and you're like, God, guys, come on. Today just wasn't. You didn't have your A game today. You didn't have your tech.
Maybe you want to donate a camera.
Maybe
We were accepting of donations. I wouldn't put that past myself to just throw it out there at 1080p. 4K may be asking too much.
Hey,
But it's
you
the
know,
future. So, I mean,
Right.
just a couple of, working class guys here
Right.
trying to make it in the podcasting
Exactly,
world.
exactly.
We are accepting of donations.
That's
We'll
right.
Just plug that.
Just shoot us an email.
That's right.
For sure.
That's right.
But we do want to mention if you want to have a good time right now, when you leave this video, stay on YouTube.
That's right.
All right. If you go back 1 or 2 episodes in our podcast, look for a guy named Jimmy Turner. Is that right?
I think it's Turner.
First of all, his comments are cracking me up. It's
great.
He's the man. We really appreciate the comments and some of the stuff he's been saying. I think he's a wild card, though. So
Could
this
be.
episode, he probably didn't even get to the end of this, and he's just dropping like, "What the hell,
That's
guys?
right.
What's going on here?"
That's right.
Um,
And let me just say this for the record.
yeah.
No marijuanas were injected before the filming of
You
this
sure?
podcast. I just have to go on record.
You sure?
Yes. I was
I
a
can't-
little quiet the last one.
I can't confirm that, guys. I don't know what Mike does before he gets here, so I don't know.
I will confirm it for you.
Okay, that's
absolutely no illicit narcotics I can't say alcohol, but was consumed before the production of that last podcast. So Mike was just a little quiet that
right
day.
Now. When you go to when you find Jimmy Turner, go to his page. He makes the best iced coffee
Yes, he does.
in the world. In the world, guys.
In the world.
410 views on this bad boy, and it has changed 405 lives.
That's right.
Okay.
So 5, their lives weren't changed?
I don't know. It's math. He explains it in the
Okay.
thing. I don't.
That's
it's
true. We actually
yeah.
might try to recreate that iced coffee. That
I think
he
we
made
might. And
live.
the key, guys, if you're watching that video, it's a good 15-minute video.
right.
The key is to use a dirty fork, out of the kitchen sink.
That's right.
Okay, so make sure you grab that when you're mixing up and you're getting that honey mixed in there
right.
for the iced coffee.
This makes a whole lot more sense if you just go watch it.
Just go watch
and Jimmy, we honestly love you. We love the comments. Keep them coming.
Yeah.
We really enjoyed the video in all seriousness.
And
It
we've
was
marked
a
that
good
video
time.
at 410 views, so
right.
we know that every video or every view
right.
he gets
That's
after
right.
the.
That's right.
Oh my
you start
God.
monetizing that. You know,
That's right.
We want a little something off the top.
Couple pennies.
That's right. That's right.
Oh my God! All right, guys. Thanks so much.
Is
if you're
this
still
over already?
it should have been over about 20 minutes ago. I'm
Thank
not even so sure
goodness.
we should have started today. Every time we hit the table, too, have you noticed the camera?
Oh, I'm so sorry about that.
I blame Matt, and it's
do
the
too.
setup. I'm just
I
kidding.
do too.
Oh my God! All right, guys. Thanks so much. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more content. We're really looking for more subscribers. So if this is your first time here, we're sorry, but please subscribe. All right. So, all right. Thanks so much. And as always, may the Force be with you.
Oh, that's hilarious.
This computer's restarted about 15 times. Hey, Matt.
I'm embarrassed.
Do you think
I'm
you'd
blushing.
maybe give me just a quick
Did
tell?
you shave this morning?
Yeah, I shaved. Well, it was about
did.
noon. I think I got
Yeah.
so
Looks like you got a bit of an evening shadow.
a little
there.
evening shadow. Just okay. Wait a second. Do I have to drink all this during the podcast?
Yes, it has to be done by the time the podcast is over.
There's not a choice.
The wine's really getting to me.
Orrin Hatch would do a better job of podcasting. And look at him. He's ancient.
Yeah.
We never had a choice.
Who would win in a fight? Gandalf or Luke Skywalker?
Luke Skywalker.
Let's go.
We're back.